Alright guys, so we're going to start a small project here, and this is a presentation website. So this is not really like a mainstream website, but something that maybe you would do at some kind of conference if you want to have some kind of presentation, but you don't want to use PowerPoint. You want to build something custom. Obviously, this is very simplified, but you could add graphics to it, charts, stuff like that. So basically, we're going to be using a bunch of stuff that we've already learned. So we're going to use variables. We're going to use a little bit of keyframe animation, transition, stuff like that. So basically when the page loads, I'm just going to reload it. The top comes in, the side comes in. All right, and then we also have a transition on the button. You can see it kind of fades nicely. And this is like the landing page, so the greeting page. And then notice there's no scroll bars. I can't scroll up and down. We actually have to click the button to go to the next page. And what I've done is I've integrated that smooth scrolling jQuery script or jQuery code that we used a while back, but you don't have to do that. If you don't use it, you'll just click and it'll just go to the next page. It won't have the scrolling effect. So it's up to you if you want to use that or not. And then notice that this is just page 2. You would change the title here and the content. You could add any content you want. We have previous, which will bring us back up, and then we have next, which will bring us to the next page. Okay, which is a different color background. We're going to use variables for that. And then the next page. And of course, if you wanted to add more, you could, but I just have 4 pages. Now, these are not separate HTML pages. It's all in this, well, I called it landing HTML, but we'll be calling it index.html. But it appears to be multiple pages. Okay, so this is what we'll be building. So let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and close that up, open a new tab. Let's go to about here, just because I want to have both on the same screen. And I just have an empty folder called presentation website, and we're going to create an index.html file. And let's create, I'm just going to do a style.css. I'm not even going to create a CSS folder because this is a very small project. So in our index.html, let's generate our boilerplate. I'm just going to close this. And let's just say presentation for our title, and we'll put in, actually, you know what we're going to do is link our style sheet. So let's go above the title and link, and let's link to style.css. Okay, we don't have a CSS folder, so we don't have to do CSS/style. And then for the content is going to be pretty simple. So we're going to have a section. Actually, let's put a comment here. We'll say this is going to be page 1, which is the intro. And it's going to be a section. These are all going to be sections with IDs. So we're going to give it an ID of page-1. And then each one is going to have a class. We don't want to put the word class. We want to say dot and then the class name, which is page. Okay, and then we'll have an H1. And let's say welcome to my presentation, and then under that let's put a paragraph, and I believe I did lorem, I think I did 40, sounds about right. So lorem 40, and underneath the paragraph we're going to have a div, and this div is going to have whatever buttons there are. Now on the first page we're just going to have one button because it's just a next, there's no previous, we're on the first page. So let's do an A tag, let's give it a class of BTN because we're going to style that. And then this is going to go to the ID of page-2. Okay, and then inside here, let's say next page. Now we are going to be using Font Awesome, so I'm actually going to go to fontawesome.com. And we're going to grab the link here so that we can use these icons. So let's put this right above our link to our style sheet. Excuse me. Okay. Now we should be able to use icons. So I'm going to go after the text of next page, and I'm going to put an I tag with a class of FAS. And let's do a class of FA-arrow-circle down. Okay, so that will give us a down facing arrow. So if I save this and we open this with Live Server, we're going to see something like this. So notice the arrow coming from Font Awesome. So for the next page, I'm going to copy this whole section and go right under it, and this is going to be page 2. Get rid of that, and this is going to have an ID of page 2, and for the title, or the H1 I should say, I'm just going to say page 2. I'm going to leave the same text. Obviously it would be different content if this were a real life project. And then down here, the next, I'm going to have this go to the previous page. Well, actually, you know what I'll do is just copy the entire A tag here and paste it under, and this one's going to go to page 1, and this is going to say previous or prev page. And then for the icon, it's going to be FA circle up, and then this one here is going to go to page 3, and this is going to be circled down, and it's going to go to the next page. Okay, so now let's copy page 2. We'll copy that section, paste that in. This is going to be page 3. Change that all to page 3, and then as for the previous, it's going to go to page 2, and this is going to go to page 4. Alright, actually one thing I wanted to do is for the, let's see, for the previous page button, let's also give that a class of button dark, because I don't want them to be the same color. So that'll be button dark, this one also button dark. Alright, and then we have one more page to do. So we'll paste this in. This will be page 4, give it an ID of page 4, and then the previous is going to be page 3, and then we're not going to have a next, so we can get rid of this whole A tag. Alright, and let's see, we won't do the button dark here just because it's the only button. Alright, so I'm going to save that, and that's what we're going to get. And you can see just how much CSS does, because this is the HTML, and just look at this, it's absolutely horrible. So CSS is very important when it comes to shaping up a website or an application. So that's the HTML. In the next video, we're going to start on the CSS.